Hola, amigos, and welcome back to another episode of La Vida Verde podcast. I'm your host, Matthew Human. We are at Finca Vida Verde, and my guest today is one of my favorite neighbors, Marcelo. Marcelo Valansi is originally from Argentina. He is an ecological land developer, the founder of Via San Mateo and Cabo Blanco, two big eco-village projects. Also the co-founder of Ecovilla, one of the originals down the road. And it's going to be a great conversation. Marcelo is a very busy man, so I'm really honored that he took the time out. It's going to be a great conversation, and I hope you enjoy. Okay, Marcelo Valansi, welcome to the podcast, brother. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
For inviting me.
Yeah. We have this crazy bird behind us. Okay, everybody. So for those of you who don't live in this area, those of you who do live here, hey, can you hear this? Are we okay? Okay. For those of you who do live here, you know Marcelo. Marcelo has been part of our community since the inception. He's an important part, one of our main ecological land developers around here. And so you've seen this place grow since the very beginning, Marcelo.
Yes.
We've been in this together since the beginning. And how did you? So let's start at the beginning first. Where you're originally from Argentina?
I grew up in Buenos Aires.
Buenos Aires, the city.
The city, big capital. I was there and always not feeling at home, like when you grew up in the wrong place and feeling, okay, I'm missing nature, I'm missing community, I'm missing the place where you can run and free and connect with nature. And this is what I was dreaming. And as soon as I could, as soon as I finished high school, I left and I went traveling. And part of those travels brought me to Costa Rica. And I came and lived here since 1998. So it's
98.
Yeah.
Wow, it's a long time. Okay, yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah. I was just finishing high school in 1998, so yeah, we're a few years off. Few years difference, but not long, because you were you were right out of high school, right? So, so you went straight into traveling, and where did you land here? Where was your first Costa Rican adventure?
The first Costa Rican adventure was in a woman. I went to learn English in Florida, in Gainesville, UF.
Oh.
And the woman that I was staying in at her house, she had a travel agency, and she was coming with a tour group here and in the Sarapiquí River, and they show her there, like a company was coming to buy this land and cut it all down. And she wanted to buy it to preserve it. So she built one of the first eco lodge in the country. It's called Selva Verde.
Selva Verde. Where in San
Sarapiquí.
Oh, okay, I've never heard of that.
They were like very well known back in the day, because when there were not many hotels in the country.
Right.
And I went there to volunteer, to learn, and I traveled to the Caribbean and was living in the Caribbean for a while. I was in Punta Mona, and then I went to Boca Del Toro, in the border with Panama.
That was the guy you worked for, or you were helping some guy with permitting and stuff or something like that, as I recall some story.
There was I was the project manager back there in a self-sustainable retreat center. And I helped with some permits.
So you've got a history. This was like a passion of yours that you followed. You were living in the city, and you had this vision of like getting out of the city, and you kind of did it. I admire that.
In a way, it was like looking what a beautiful planet we have and how much we are destroying it. And instead of going and being part of the problem and being another consumer, I said, okay, how can we do things differently? And started thinking, okay, how can we do it in a different way, and the different path, different teachers on the way show me different things, and it's a keep learning experience. Every day
Totally.
we keep learning and really exploring and learning from what to do and what not to do.
We're learning those lessons the hard way. I mean, this is the reality is like there's really no master class on these things. And if it is, we're probably teaching it because this a lot of this ecological development, it's not to say it hasn't happened,
Yeah.
but it hasn't, it's always happening in new ways and like new technologies are coming and new ways of communicating and new ways of living or yeah, in this area particularly Costa Rica draws people like you must have found other people like
Sure.
you here that were interested in that sort of
Yeah,
reality.
it's a there is a reality like from like 100%, 100 projects that start around 98 fail. So it's really like because of one or many reasons that you are missing. And I've been giving a class sometimes whenever I could, that is called the due diligence in permaculture, and it's a course that you can go really deep from whatever, from a homestead to building a retreat center to a community. What are the stages, the planning and all the due diligence that you have to, like, from finding the land, once you find the land, all the things that you need to know. Many times people are saying, wow, I found this land, it's amazing, it has springs everywhere. And in terms of like making a project and getting permits, every spring you have to leave a 100-meter radius
Right. In Costa Rica.
in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, I've been giving these courses in Costa Rica for Costa Rica, like Costa Rican people and foreigners that they want to know all these process and
In English and in Spanish.
yeah.
You have is it recorded or how do people get a hold of you or how do they get
I don't know if they recorded. It was organized by Sam and Scott from Porvenir.
Oh, okay. So it's a in-person
It's
course.
some course that we've done it a few times in different locations, and it was quite interesting. So people can like really have these days to really plan and ask all the questions, and with trees, with permits, with land planning and legalities and what to do and what not to do. And then, as you said, like we need to write it and share this information. And I would be happy. Like I'm an open source. Anyone that have any questions, want to contact, I'm always happy to share and help in any way we can, because we want to see more projects happening, more conscious people doing good things with the land and not coming and destroying, but really working with the land, hear the land, respect it, preserve it. And the moment where you create this kind of communities, you suddenly have the park rangers, the caretakers of the land that come and really take care of
the people who come in and take care of it. Because if you bring in the right people, then yeah, they're gonna take care of it in a better way.
And they not only they come and take care of that, when we come into a rural area and suddenly we are bringing opportunities,
Sure.
job creations and things, entrepreneurship for a lot of the local people that they start like they start different companies and different businesses.
And this is a big conversation because, like we had Marcela Mora on and she was talking about this a little bit, how she's starting a company to train Costa Ricans how to interact and how to work with this big international community. I think there's this idea from some people in the United States particularly that there's this Americans coming to Americans, which they all people in North and South and Central America are Americans, but this idea that people from the United States are coming down here and taking over the culture,
They come in to colonize,
colonizing it, and it's like this. It's a really, to me, I really struggle with that because
but I mean, it is understandable as well.
Sure.
From where
yes,
some of these people come from, and there are some countries that are like that. And I lived in Panama, and Panamanians, they had the experience of the canal war, another history.
Right, the
And
U.S.
whenever,
coming down
yeah,
there, setting up shop, basically.
like taking over, like taking the canal, making it theirs for many years, people getting killed, military regimes,
Right.
many history that Costa Rican didn't have. So the perception and the welcoming that Costa Rica has, that it's a country that didn't even have to fight for their independence. Suddenly
Right.
they came from from Guatemala and say, you guys are free. Like, okay.
Yeah. Right on. Okay.
Pura
Yeah.
vida.
One of the few
And
countries in the world probably that never had that didn't have to fight for independence. That
not
didn't have
only
to win
didn't
a
have
war.
to fight when, I mean, they had the history for almost 70 years of not having an army and putting that money into health and into education, into many things. So the culture and the things that you come into rural areas, and even talking with people with um, very um, very poor. They have a level of education and understanding, and the conversations that you can have, they are much higher and much profound than most people that you run. And they feel like, okay, these people are exotic, this new, and
Sure.
they're very open and receptive. So I could see like this perception of coming and colonizing, but here we feel and we are very welcome. And because
Mhm.
we are not coming to take from them and taking advantage, we are working with the community. How can we improve their lives? How can we improve their like as a whole uh, area, as a
Yeah.
whole thing? And
Yeah, and yeah, and there's a that's a big difference. I mean, that's the thing is like we there really is like a desire to work with people. And it's not to say that some people aren't going to have struggle or be upset about it or whatever. I mean, that's just the nature of humans is you're never going to please everybody, but the reality is this is not one culture coming in and taking over. Costa Rica has opened its country to ecologically minded people, and it's attracting people. It's like a light bulb. They put up a light bulb for ecology, and people from all over the world are coming here and being attracted to this zone. And it's English is the common language in general. Also, Spanish is a close second. I would say probably mostly English, just because it has somehow become a common language to more international people. But it's very bilingual here. Many, and it's like it's people from the US, people from Canada, people from South
Europe.
America, Central America, people from Europe. Yeah, I mean, it's so diverse here. And I think I would really love for more people to understand that. And I like that you coming from this South American perspective, it's like people just see us all as because of the color of our skin. It's more white. It's gringos. We're gringos. We speak English. We're taking over the culture, and it's just so not like that. And I know you particularly are very conscious of that reality and trying to create opportunities for people.
For sure. I mean, right now we are making a project, Ecovilla San Mateo, and we are all the stores that are open there. They're local people, entrepreneurs that they started a clothing business, another open a bakery, coffee, restaurant,
Yeah.
ice cream, and it's these local people. How can we help them? And the policeman from San Mateo, Vinicio, is opening a car wash next week.
It's
And
in
in
Ecovilla San
San
Mateo.
Mateo. So really
He's the
helping them,
policeman.
the policeman, but as well, like we have Ecovilla Cabo Blanco that is between Santa Teresa and Montezuma, and over there we started by doing an orphanage. We are building an orphanage for
Uh-huh.
90 kids and 60 women. So it's really wherever we are, it's what is happening here in the area, from like doing food forests and reforestation of the Cuenca that we are support. It's a project we are supporting. All
Totally.
the basin of basin of
The basin, yeah. The
the
Cuenca is
Cuenca.
the watershed. Basic, it's watershed. The Cuenca is the watershed, and we live in this very important one because it's actually like the Machuco Valley watershed is just huge, and it's like feeds all the way goes all the way down to the Pacific, and it's a lot of tributaries, and it's also, there's a lot of work as we're studying. You've been helping fund some of these projects or some of these studies, but they found that like there's a lot of polluters and a big large scale animal agriculture right up from us. So that, but oh,
Yeah.
I feel like I should, like, I don't even want to say it because I'm like, I don't want people to go away, but we need more conscious people to come here to help make that change.
It's not going away. It's how can we change it?
How can we
Because
fix it?
it's really about uh, like lack of education. I had a really interesting story. One time, many years ago, I did as I needed money. There came a group of I did all kinds of jobs, and one of them was uh, like being a tour guide, and they came these people from a university in the U.S. that they were studying environmental studies, and they asked that we go to see a banana plantation. And the owner of the factory there, like the I don't know if you call it factory or
Plantation.
plantation
Yeah.
or um they had he had an office and they came there and they were very angry, all these students. You are like making all these things, all pollution and this and and he said, can you guys follow me? And they they asked us to follow him with the bus, and he brought us to his house, and he had a beautiful like compound there full of fruit trees and all kinds of fruit trees. And he says, look here, I would never eat those bananas that you guys eat. I have all organic. I would never uh, do anything like that. I'm completely conscious. But instead of coming and trying to educate me, go and educate your people, because they are the ones that if the banana doesn't have the perfect shape, the perfect color, or anything, wouldn't come and buy it.
Right.
So it's really about getting conscious where our food comes from, where it is, and educating people. And for me, was so important that message like he gave them, and it's saying really like sometimes it's not the source, but it's the root, and the root is us many times as consumers, as people that we have the power to make the changes and make the decision, and it's just really having that idea and how we can make it happen.
Yeah, I appreciate that a lot, and that's a great story. I love that story. I've never heard that before, and that's what we're doing. And so, Marcelo, I know you're this Ecovilla San Mateo. We could talk about that. You mentioned it a little bit, but yeah, I've been going down there visiting. Like, they do a market on Saturdays right now. It's just in the early stages of opening, but there's a market, and it's like eco demonstrations and a lot of local vendors. Mostly organic or in transitional vendors, and also there's a restaurant, as you mentioned, and the
Sure. With Ecovilla San Mateo, it's we had this laboratory of Ecovilla, of this community that's been up and running for more than 10 years now.
right.
So we are 47 families from 29 different countries, and
That's La Ecovilla right down the road.
that's an original, and it's an established community, and that's where I live. And really, like, it's been an incredible ride and incredible learning of what to do, what things we can improve, and what things don't work, what things we could do better, and as well what we were missing. And from that, all that experience and knowledge and exploration and more heads and more ideas, it came together Ecovilla San Mateo, that is this new project that is much larger. In a way, it's more than 500 acres. The original Ecovilla is 45 acres, so
Right. It's what's that? That's
like 12 times,
Yeah.
12 plus times bigger, and in a way, it's this land that was very impacted in the past. It used to be a petting zoo
right.
and a cow farm. And in a way, it's how can we regenerate the land, how we can preserve it, reforest, preserve, and create these conscious communities where people can come and grow and evolve as human beings and feeling, okay, what can we do for this community? What can we do for the broader community? What can we do for the country? What can we do for the planet? And it's really, once you put this kind of people living together, networking, thinking together, a lot of new companies start happening, new projects, and it started like making a ripple effect to all the community around, and we all can really benefit from this thing. And it's so in Ecovilla San Mateo we have the where it used to be the food court. Right now that they have this huge bamboo structure that we are holding every Sunday, farmers market, and once a month we have a thing called Ecoferia. That is all solutions for construction, for electric mobility, electric vehicles, or having all kinds of vendors as well from this area that we've been helping as well. What do we want to consume in order that they don't all produce the same things, but they have certain varieties and they have a way of making an income.
And also music. My band I played there a number of times. And
you played there a number of times. We have that fundraising for the orphanage. We have many events that the whole community is coming together and helping all the community around this area. So it's very magical and very beautiful what is happening. And in here, part of that beautiful area is having a space where all the communities that are happening in this area, they can come together, including the existing community, that they can come, and how locals, foreigners, we can interact and share music, share art, share knowledge. We want to invite indigenous villages to come and share all their knowledge on their plants, on the medicine, and so on. So it's really a thing of places to come together. There was a stadium where they make rodeos, like shows with horses.
The rodeo.
And we are going to put a roof end to end and have a big space to really have concert speakers and a big community events.
Lovely.
We have an area that there was a theater. There was a replica of the Casona Santa Rosa. It's an historical building where they came to tell them that they were independent. Like, that's the Independence building.
Okay.
So there is a replica there of this house, and it's a theater. And before there was Teatro de la Tierra.
Oh, is that the Teatro de la Tierra?
And all that area of Teatro de la Tierra, we are going to create an art village, because we know how much artists, they bring this beautiful energy into the area, and we want to have from music to a recording studio, having pottery and all kinds of arts and co-working and so on in this area that is already designated in the master plan to bring the arts. And then we have the area for expanding and building a new campus for the school that we have already, Casa Sula, and we want to make it that can serve as many kids as possible.
It's going to continue to be well, actually, Casa Sula goes all the way up till high school, right?
Yeah, we have kids from 3 years old to 18 that they can go there. So it's really, we felt as soon as we had the community, we had all these kids, and says, how do we want to educate them? And we all felt we don't want, if we want different results, we need to change the education. And it's how do we envision? And they came, these people from Ecuador that really help us having a base for this new education. And right now we are in a transition. How can we take this into the next level? And really the same thing of what we did with Ecovilla to Ecovilla San Mateo is this new school, Casa Sula 2.0.
2.0, Casa Sula 2.0, which Casa Sula and Marcelo were both in the, the Down to Earth with Zac Efron's episode 3, whatever, season 1, episode 3, Costa Rica. If you're interested in learning about what Casa Sula in Ecovilla, the original Ecovilla, you can go watch that episode, and you'll kind of get a basis of that.
But basically, Casa Sula, Sula is Imbribri, is a native Costa Rican tribe, and it means the spirit guardian of the seed. And we believe that we all bring the information inside, and the moment you let the kids connect to that connection, they have that connection intact and they are protected, and they have a prepared spaces for them to absorb all the knowledge. They can do it, and they don't need, like, we talk about free range food, organic food, and but the kids is, let's put them in this industrialized
Right. System.
system for put them in these boxes and think this is how the way we should think and how we
Yeah,
should do things.
and also Sula like then created spin-offs and other like parents have just been moving here, flocking here to be part of this school, and there's a big a bunch of different, now there's another school too in the area, and it's like really inspiring other people to do, it's really interesting watching this community grow. I mean, you and I both have been here since there was nobody here. Like since Diego and Araceli, a few of us here at Tacotal, and then
Yeah.
nobody at Ecovilla. So it's really, really fascinating just seeing how it's growing. And like Stephen was inspired, Norman got inspired to do Alegria, and Marcelo got his crew and got inspired to do Ecovilla San Mateo. And it's like, and everybody's learning from you know, from their mistakes, or from not the mistakes, but like you said, how can we do it better? How can we bring this bigger? And Ecovilla San Mateo is much larger. It's how many more lots? It's
It's 280 lots.
280 lots,
Yeah.
and there's still some available, right?
There are some lots available, not so many, but it's going really fast because like since like so many people from COVID era, they can work from anywhere. They are like, okay, why not
Working Costa Rica.
Costa Rica having these amazing schools for their kids and having community around and all the things that is coming to attract them, and all full year long summer spring weather.
And you've got the river. The Machuca runs right through Ecovilla San Mateo. I love that land.
Yeah.
Ever since I first went there, I remember seeing it. I was like, this is incredible because so yeah, you mentioned it used to be a petting zoo. It was this place called Panaca. It was like a Colombian kind of petting zoo, a theme park attraction, but it didn't do very well here as a business. But the land, like you said, they built all these amazing structures, and I remember going there, just looking at it, going like, this would be an amazing community. And of course, Marcelo went there too, and you got some investors together, I imagine, and made it happen. Because
Yeah.
yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, it took a while to, sometimes to get things happening as well for my, uh, yeah, my personal situation. Like as soon as I moved into Ecovilla, like that when we finished our house, actually I had my guest house that we were coming and staying, but when we finished uh, a week before we finished our house, my wife got diagnosed with breast cancer. So it was I didn't really know why I was sent to build a community um, until I had this situation in my life, and that showed me the importance of having community around. For, of course, it's super fun for fun moments to have them, but it's so good to have people that you really care about and that they care about you
You need him.
when you have tough moments.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true.
And having all these people around helping her, helping with the kids, helping me, having men's circles every week where we will sit around the fire and share. Not many times we as men we have a space in a society to really like talking how are we truly doing, what is happening inside, being vulnerable, being able to laugh, to cry, to hold each other, and as well hold each other accountable for.
And Soul was, yeah, and you mentioned Soul, your wife Soul was a real special being, real gentle spirit, and your kids. Noah and Elan are just like super special. I love having them around because they're such little versions of the two of you. I see her so much in them, and also you, and they're just such good kids, man. I just really appreciate them, and I remember Soul. Yeah, she was by the time you guys moved here because of that. I didn't really connect with her so much because she was dealing with her health, and but she came up here a couple times to talk with Paul. I remember, and yeah, she sadly passed away. I remember April 18th, as I recall. It was the day before my
April.
birthday,
Yeah.
April 18th, 2020. And I know this because it was the day before my 40th birthday, and it was also right at the beginning of COVID. So yeah, bless her spirit, Marcelo. Yeah, and I'm glad you had some support here in this community.
Yeah.
You're so right that having the community has been so important, and so many times for me myself too. Even though I live up here at Tacotal, Ecovilla, La Ecovilla has been such a important community for me. Many times, much more than Tacotal because there's people here, people
Sure.
down there.
And it was a I for me was quite like interesting time as well. I mean I had a lot of time to process and do my grieving before and everything, but as well it was all the fears that came up of saying, oh wow, now I'm 40 something and I'm like where I'm gonna find someone in the middle of COVID and suddenly like as well like this
An
beautiful
angel appears.
single lady and she's been my partner um now for over 2 years, so it's um
And I remember Julianne coming up here before I think she even met you, saying like she was ready for a partner, and I thought I was like, wow, she's really clear that she's like after a partner. She's ready for a partnership. I didn't know who it was gonna be. I was like this tall Quebecois girl, but it makes sense. I'm actually sitting on three pillows right now, just so that you all know. Marcelo is a healthy amount taller than I am. So, anyways, okay, so we have so much more we can talk about. What can maybe we can just talk about, wrap it up, and like what's next for La Ecovilla? How can people get a hold of you if they're interested? Ecovilla, I'll just say like I'm super inspired by Ecovilla San Mateo and La Ecovilla, and I don't know much about Cabo Blanco, but it's Marcelo. You really do walk your talk. You really are, trying to be the best you can and create the best community. You're a community man. When somebody needs something, you're always there. I really respect that about you, and you've always been there for me too, brother.
thank you.
So
I feel when you said what's next, I had the privilege to meet this amazing couple that we met through the orphanage. They end up donating the land for the orphanage, and we get it to know each other in a much deeper way. And they came one day. They were in Santa Teresa, renting Mel Gibson's house, and they said, "Can I? We would love to come and see what you're doing there." I said, "Okay, when are you planning to come?" I said, "Today." I said, "Okay, if you take this ferry." No, no, we have an helicopter. We can come now. I said, "Okay." So
is
they
that
arrive. Sebastian and Canel, they're my business partners
okay?
in Ecovilla right now. They became full partners, and they are really tech entrepreneurs, and they were lacking in their life. They were very conscious about environment, about how they can support that, and the lack of community of their life. They have three small girls, and they love the idea, and they said, "What is your vision?" I said, "I would love to see eco-villages all over the world." And they have the knowledge on how to start something very small and making a multinational thing, and how to manage that and grow
Scale.
and scale and making it possible. So I feel that we make a great team.
It's great.
And right now we are looking at land in Sicily, in Italy. We are looking in France, in Portugal, in Spain. we are looking land in Patagonia, and we are exploring some other areas
Cool.
with a ski resort. And the idea is how these places that we are creating are this beam of lights that they start this ripple effect in many places and bringing the school. The idea with the school is that we can expand it with the eco-villages, so we start changing and more families, they start moving around those areas and start creating communities. And how can we make a difference together in a way of bringing our gifts, our dreams, and this is just the containers when all that can happen, our growth and being able to do it. So none of us are doing these projects for money. Our motivation is really creating a better future for our things in humanity, and we need for that community. So the more people come together, the sooner we come together, the more we could do and more we can expand. And the idea is in the future, if you just want to go to Sicily, to Patagonia, to ski or anything, it's saying somebody wants to trade and come to that, and you have the same school, the same community, the same things
So
already in place.
the school and the like ecology being the and the culture of organic culture and being the main kind of.
Yeah, and in as you the next question you ask, I mean, first it's not only first is land regeneration,
Soil,
and preserve it, and like right now we are doing a lot of. We have an incredible team in permaculture led by Alejandro, and they are doing incredible things with capturing CO2 with biochar and many things that they are doing. And yeah, the team that is forming, it's growing with more talented people and people that say, I would love to be part of this community. How can I help? And we'll say, what are your gifts? Here is what I can bring. And they suddenly become part. Not everybody had the money. Many people have the money and they say, I want to buy a lot. But there are people that bring all this talent to the equation. And it's so important as well, because they are not just a job. Most of the people that are working right now in Via San Mateo are people that are seeing this as their future life, where they want to be part of these communities, and it's so different, the energy that they put towards that. It's not like, okay, this is my job, it's not 5, I'm living by
or my investment. This is an investment property. We don't. I know.
It's really beautiful. So, and the last thing you asked me to contact, www.ecovilla.com.
Ecovilla.com. We'll put that on the screen too, so you can see it.
Yeah.
Also, Marcelo has offered to support our podcast. If you click the link, if you're watching on YouTube, we'll create a link, and if you click through that link, it'll support us here at Finca Vida Verde as well. So you can we'll also put that link in the description of the video. Well, there's so much more. I had all these stories I wanted to tell. When you've lived in community for almost 15 years with somebody, you get some stories, but that's going to have to wait. I hope some of you are inspired to check this out, to come check out our community. There are spaces. There's other eco villages in the area. It's a beautiful place to be, and I'm honored to be doing it with you, Mr. Marcelo Valansi.
Same. And if you end up buying a lot, it comes with a special video of human that I.
No. These are private, Marcelo. Oh my God, I can't believe you, bro. All right, that's it, Marcelo. We gotta cut it. Thank you for watching. This is Marcelo Valansi. I'm Matthew Human. You can check out more at laecovilla.com or check out the link in the comments. You can find us on YouTube. If you're watching this, you're watching it on YouTube, youtube.com at La Vida Verde Podcast. We have a Patreon if you want to support us. Patreon.com/La Vida Verde Podcast. Your generous donations help keep interviews like this going, spreading information. It's really, I love doing it, and it also costs money. And Yvonne is also super generous and helpful. Thank you, Yvonne, who's behind the camera. We also have, we're on Instagram at Finca Vida Verde CR. We're on Facebook at Finca Vida Verde. I'm your host, Matthew Human. We'll see you next time. Muchas gracias por la vida. Thank you, Marcelo.
Thank you, brother.
All right.